Welcome to Before, During, After, a Smirk Experience podcast about performance from the inside. Every week, I'll sit down with a professional comedian to unpack how they prepare for a gig, what they're thinking about while they're on stage, and how they reflect once it's over. Because great performances don't just happen, they're built. This week's guest is Jason Patterson, who is a top bloke and a brilliant comic. We discuss how new material makes its way into his club sets, how he uses nerves as energy, and also taking advice from his peers. Plus, find out how Jay got a joke to work 6 years after he wrote it. Enjoy.
I'm still working at trying it.
Absolutely, man. It's the journey and not the destination, ain't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Tell us a bit about your first ever gig.
My first ever gig, I'll tell you two stories, right?
Go on.
The first gig I ever done on stage ever was in a venue called The Arc in Angel, around the corner from Angel Tube Station on Torrens Street. And it was a variety show. I went there. I had 5 minutes. I did my set so quick. I sat down and the MC was like, Jay, you've still got 2.5 minutes left, man. You don't want to come back up? I was like, no, I've done. That's it. Like, it went by so quick, but I was rushing. I got 2 laughs, which was good.
Yeah.
And just hearing my voice in the microphone in a room freaked me out, man. That was like, I sound like this? Because in my mind, I sound different, you know? So, but
Always.
yeah, that was my first ever show.
Yeah.
The next show I done was probably about 7-8 months later. And I was booking the gig and then cancelling it because I was getting nervous before the show started. So I'd book it. It would be on a Sunday in Stratford. I booked the gig a month in advance. And about 3 days before, I'd call them up. Hey, I'm sick. I can't make it. Hey, family emergency, can't make it. So then one day, my mum found out that I booked the comedy show. She invited my uncle. She invited my uncle's partner, my cousin, my friend, her partner at the time. So I can't cancel now, right? I have to do the show. And my biggest fear was being heckled. I got heckled within 2 minutes. And because I was bad, 2 minutes of death. And then I got heckled and I put him down and that saved my set.
Oh, right.
And a guy came up, this promoter came up to me and handed me his card. He's like, yeah, I'll run a little club. Come and I said, mate, you're going to book me after that. And he said, look, the way you handled that heckler shows me that you're quick. You got a quick mind. So yeah, I'll book you again, man. It shows there's something there.
Brilliant.
So they were the first two.
He must have seen something even through that. Yeah, everything you said strikes a chord with me. I can remember when you first start on the open mic, planning 5 minutes and thinking to yourself, Jesus, that is actually ages.
It's so long. It's so especially when you're new. 5 minutes is like an hour.
Yeah, it's like counting to 300 slowly.
I wrote out my set, right, for that first gig, and it was on a bit of paper and it was this long. So I thought, yeah, man, this is 5 minutes. I did every single joke and it got me to 2 minutes, 20 seconds. And that's even waiting for the laughs. And I only got 2 laughs. And I got off stage and I just remember the guy was like, Jay, man, you still got, like, you got time? Like, you don't want to say anything else? No, I'm finished. I'm done. I've peaked. Thank you very much. I'm done.
Don't forget to tip your waitress. Try the veal. Good night.
I was like, yeah, let some of these other talented people have a go. I'm done.
How were you with friends and family coming to watch? Because I've done some gigs and comics have said to me, like, I'll chat to them before and another comic will say, oh my God, do you know those people? And I go, yeah, I do. And they go, I could never do that.
Dude, that first gig, I mean, if I had my way, they wouldn't have come to that gig. but at least the gig went ahead. So good came out of it. As a rule, and I actually had this rule from when I was new, I wasn't going to invite anyone until I was decent, until I had at least a decent 5 minute set. So that was my rule. My
Yeah.
girlfriend at the time would come and support, even though I was like, come on, it's not going to be good, but she came to support. We worked in the same place. So when I finished work, she'd just come with me. But no, I didn't start really inviting people until I had something, until I could at least get laughs.
Yeah,
So
right.
the first load of gigs, like 6 months or so, 7 months, was just me going out and just figuring it out. And then my girlfriend at the time coming as well.
She fulfilled the role for the bringer gigs, did she?
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that because yeah, other comedians started to know her. Like open mic comics were like, "Oh, Jason's on today. Oh, cool, cool." And she would sit with like their friends, and me and the comics would talk. But yeah, she was. I think she's the reason that bringers came in, to be honest. But
Just to
it was
explain,
good. It was
just
good. I
to,
think you do need someone with you. It is nice to have someone with you, but
yeah,
for me, when I was new, I'm happy just going out by myself and doing this underground thing that nobody knows about and build up my confidence. Now I invite people, friends I haven't seen. Yeah, I'm doing a show. I'm doing this gig. Come over, but it's different now, because
yeah.
I can get one or two laughs now, But then there was no guarantee. So
No, definitely. One of the last ones I had that was pressure. My wife is from Australia, and I was doing the Perth Fringe a few years ago, and
okay,
my mother-in-law very kindly invited about 20 of her mates to the gig, and then afterwards
no.
was hosting a party at her house where I was staying with all the people. And it crossed my
Mate.
mind, please don't bomb.
Because you have to hang out with them. You
Yeah,
can't get
yeah,
away.
yeah, exactly. I was just like going through it in my head, like, oh, hey, like, oh, they normally do a little bit better.
Mate, you're not going to believe this, right? This is recent, yeah? I do new material at various open mic nights now, right? I
Mm.
did one in West London in November. There was about 115 people in the room. There was a guy doing his first spot, and he brought 90 people.
Nine
Nine
zero.
zero.
Oh,
Nine.
wow.
Dude, I kid you not. I was talking to him. I'm like, did you seriously bring all that? He went, yeah, yeah. He goes, that's my friend, that's my auntie, that's my mum, my dad, my cousin, my friends. But he was pointing that they were all, so they put him on before the headliner at the end, because
Yeah,
where else you gonna put him? But I said 90 people,
that's a lot.
dude,
That's
for your first ever gig.
yeah. Sometimes I get sent videos by comics wanting to do smirk shows, and
Mm,
you can just tell immediately that the room is full of their friends because they just
yeah,
like take the
yeah,
microphone out and say hello, and everyone goes yeah, and it's
yeah,
like yeah,
yeah. That's it.
I got to be a little bit. I'm not sure that would get the same reaction in a room of strangers.
Exactly. And that's the thing as well. When I was new, I was aware of this. Even as an open mic, I always knew that I want honest laughs. If my friends come, they're going to support me, but they will be supportive. Even if I'm bombing, they're going to laugh at stuff. I need to go where nobody knows me, where no one really cares about me, and that's what you need as a new comedian. If you're doing new jokes, you're a new comedian. You want honest laughs because that's the only way you're going to grow. So, like you
Agreed.
said, you could book that guy who's got his friends cheering him on. As soon as he hits your stage, reality bites, man.
Yeah, I think I've over the years learned that the hard way. You mentioned about doing new material. That's interesting. Once you've written a bit, tell us about the process from, the kind of incubation phase, where you take it out first of all, and at what point it goes into a set.
So if I've got ideas where they're like, I've got a good premise and I need to figure it out, they're the bits I take to a new material night because I can figure, I've got 10 minutes on stage, I can work it out on stage. I kind of know where I want to go, but I wouldn't do that bit on a pro night, I'll save that bit for new material because that's what the night is for. And I've got a bit more flexibility to feel the joke out.
Yeah,
If I write a routine and I feel that, okay, this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end, I'll take that to a pro gig because I'm like, okay, this needs to be tried within a bit. When you've got 20 minutes or half an hour and you're trying out a new routine, it's easier to fit in 20 minutes because
yeah, yeah.
I can go into it strong, then you do the bit, and whatever way the bit goes, I've got an out. I know where I'm going straight afterwards. So it doesn't look like it's bombed. It just looks like, oh, Jason said that to get to this.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. You're spot on there. Audience's concentration is kind of U-shaped, isn't it? Start off paying
Mm-hmm.
attention, drift off, finish paying attention.
They don't know if a joke didn't work.
Yeah,
They don't, you know, and another comedian will know, but the audience will just be, oh, he just said that because he's going to say something else after. They're not thinking, oh, he stopped talking and we're not laughing. That joke didn't work. They could, they won't see it.
exactly. I could remember when I was on the open mic circuit, it was a relatively big room and there were people there that weren't friends, and a new comic finished a bit and then said to the room, that was my best joke. and, and it hadn't gone very well. And all the other acts were like, don't say that.
Rookie mistake. Just keep going.
Yeah,
Just keep going.
keep going is precisely it. On the subject of new material, if you got something that you believe in that isn't working, how many times do you try it before you think, yeah, maybe that ain't as good as what I thought it was?
Right. Last week, I was at up the creek in Greenwich, right?
Mm-hmm.
I I did a joke that I finally made work 6 years after I wrote it.
Wow.
It wasn't working, and it was like I liked the premise. I believed in the joke. I remember Louis C.K. said if the punchline doesn't work, then it's probably the premise. You've missed something out in the premise, right? So you need to make sure the premise is strong. Because if you have a good punchline, then the setup is all that needs to go with it, right? So I had this joke that it was hit and miss, and then it just stopped working. So I went back and I just started working on the premise, and I said, okay, let me try it like this, and I did it last week, and 6 years of stress was like, oh, finally got it. I
What a
finally
feeling.
got it.
This is the like some punters go to like preview tour shows of big acts where they see the act like putting lines through jokes that don't work.
Hmm.
But quite a lot of people don't. They would just go to nights like Up the Creek or Backyard, good comics doing stuff that's worked, and they justifiably and understandably think that those acts just like do it. That's just
Yeah,
how it is. And
yeah,
it's stories like that that show you the work that goes into it. That's a
yeah.
brilliant story. Oh, you must
It,
have
it,
been over the moon for having finished that gig 6 years after coming up with the idea.
I did a gig in Winchester last Friday, and I did the new bit for the joke that I was working on. I did it then. I was like, let me just throw this out, see what happens. And it worked. So then I went home and I tightened it up, and I'm like, right, if it works tonight up the creek, then I know it's in. And when it landed, yeah, it feels good because you're like, okay, you don't throw material away. I could have a good idea today. I might not have the skills to make it funny today, but 6, 7 months down the line, oh, that's the line that's going to make that joke funny. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe this is the ending that I need. But you never throw anything away, man. You always keep it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we're like musicians. You hear about musicians like, oh, I had this old song floating around that I didn't know what to do with. Brought it in the studio. Next thing you know, number one hit.
Exactly.
And you keep the material there because we might not have the skill now, but I might do another routine in a year. Oh, that bit I wrote last year that didn't work, it fits perfectly here. This is how it ends, and it takes a small routine and then it turns it into something special.
Absolutely. I can remember when I was like regularly out, kind of more on the circuit, you'd
Mm.
think of something new and you try it and it wouldn't work. And you feel a bit like a football manager that's bought a youth player from Doncaster at right back, and you're playing him, and everyone's just nutmegging him half a dozen times, and the press are all like, "What's going on with that right back?" And you're like, "That
Yeah,
right back is going to be the cornerstone of this
that's
team for the
right.
next 10 years."
That's right.
And about 3 months later, you loan him out to Yeovil, and no one ever hears from him again.
Do you know what a good point is, mate? I think we both said this. Some people have a new bit, it doesn't work, and they just keep doing it. And it's like you have to rewrite it.
Yeah,
Some
yeah,
people
yeah,
don't change it. It's like,
yeah.
no, it works. I'm going to keep saying, if you keep doing it the same way and it's not working, then clearly, and I used to be like that when I was new. And I know comics that have been like that. You have to work it. Maybe the way the idea is good, the joke is good, but the way that you're doing it isn't the right way. So you've got to play with it, try
Exactly.
different ways.
And you must also make sure that you commit to it fully.
Yes,
I've done
yes.
some gigs and a actor's done 5 minutes at the top that they've done 1,000 times and it absolutely kills it. And then what they do is they take a notebook out of their pocket and go, I'm going to try some new stuff now. Have you ever noticed? And the audience go, well, hang on, all of that was new. What do you mean? That was
Yeah,
old. It was new
yeah.
to us. Why are you reading that bit? So they take half a step backwards. The act
Hmm.
senses that they don't commit, and they come off and say, "Oh, I hate doing new stuff." And I feel like saying, "You've got to learn it and commit to it
That's
exactly the
right.
same way."
That's right. I think that's important. I think there's a lot of comedians. I did it the same when I was new. I would, I wouldn't, you would tell if I was doing a new joke because I would deliver it so different to everything else.
Mm,
And when I do new material, like when I finish this interview, I've got a new bit I'm working on to do tonight. I've got my TV remote and I'm going to pace the room and I'm going to say it how I'm going to say it on stage tonight. And I'm going to have it down, like start here and deliver it. So when you do it on stage, it's natural movement. It's a natural flow. Whereas if you go on stage and like, I'm doing my set and then as soon as it comes to the new bit, okay, right, straight away, you're like, okay, what's happened to this guy? He's changed. He's not the
absolutely.
same guy a minute ago.
That's very interesting you say that, Jay. What you're basically talking about there is a form of visualization, isn't it?
Yeah,
Seeing
yeah,
yourself on the stage
yeah,
doing the gig. Tell us a little
yeah.
bit more about how you would use that in your preparation
For new material or just material?
in general, but maybe talk about new. I mean, just in preparation in general, but we could talk about the new stuff if you like. It doesn't really matter.
Well, for me, I always, if I've got a new bit I'm trying, I know exactly the joke I'm doing before it, and I know exactly the joke I'm doing after. So when I write the new bit, so if it's a routine, I'll just make sure I hit, beginning, middle, end. That's in my mind. All right, I'm going to start here. So the joke, I got a new bit I'm doing about going brunch with my friend. So starting point, brunch with my friend. Then the silliness is in the middle, and then the payoff at the end. So in my mind, first of all, right, what jokes have I got that's kind of that ties in with this? Those jokes that work are going to go before it, and then one of those are going to go at the end. So it's like you tie it up with a bow, right? It's like, oh, that's a nice bit.
Yep.
Before I go on stage, this is why I like a quiet place to go before I walk on stage so I can go over it in my mind again. I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
these are the bullet points. Start here, that's the middle, this is the end.
Yeah.
And then when I go on stage, I'll go in my mind, I'm like, right, you have to deliver all of this strong, all of it. If you start here, your new material has to be delivered here. You can't start here and then become uncertain when the new bit starts. You've got to go in all the way. All of
Yeah.
that, all of that is in my mind going into doing a new routine, especially on a pro night where people they haven't paid to see you work, to practice. They've come to see you deliver. But when you're doing it like as long as we have and you know the techniques, you just have to make sure, right, deliver it like you've said it 100 times.
Exactly. Exactly that. Another bit of mental preparation would be what I call triggers, and they're little bits of preparation before you go on that put you in an optimum state to perform. It might be, I don't know, exercise, it might be music, it might be clothing, it might be a mantra, anything. Would there be anything like that that you would put into a routine on the day of a gig?
Before the show.
Yeah,
Um, all I ever tell myself before I go on stage is two things: energy, confidence.
right.
That's all that's in my mind. Energy, confidence. You know,
Brilliant.
I'm not a sit down comedian. I'm not a
Yeah,
lean up against the wall. It's like I'm working, I'm performing. I can't tell my jokes. I have to, it's like when you do new material, you've got to sell it, you've got to
yeah,
perform. There are comedians that can just stand there and do their jokes. That's their style. Mine isn't. I've got to perform the jokes. So in my mind, it's like energy, confidence. Let's go.
yeah. Nice, man. Nice.
Mm.
Tell us about your relationship with nerves. Has it changed over the years? How nervous you get? Do you still get nervous?
Yeah. Always get, but nerves are good though. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this. Nerves show that you care. It
Yeah,
doesn't. It's not. Nerves aren't about making you feel scared. It shows that you're. Oh, you actually care. If I walk on stage and I'm not nervous, then what am I doing up there?
yeah, right.
It's like I'm just gonna walk on stage and hey everyone. It's like no. I always get nerves. I get butterflies, whatever spot, new material, 20-minute sets, 1 hour shows, whatever gig. But that lets me know, yeah, that's good. I'm invested in this. It lets me know I'm present and lets me know I care about what's going on. Doesn't matter how many times I've done it. It's like, no, this matters. So
Yeah, right.
nerves are good.
Absolutely, they are. Absolutely. I did a workshop with a guy called Chris Bentley, who'd been a pro comic. Sorry, he'd been a pro rugby player and
Hmm.
now hosts, like, after match functions down in Exeter. And
Right.
he used to say, I get really nervous. I think he would talk about literally sitting on the toilet before he started, like literally crapping
Wow.
himself. Well, not crapping himself, crapping into a toilet, but he would literally do that. And a big change for him is that I said, I always get nervous, but I know the nerves will help me do better than if I'm
Yes.
not nervous. So
Yes.
when I first get that little, whoa, here we go, I treat it almost like the kind of cavalry coming over the hill, like,
Right.
oh,
Right.
yeah, here we go.
Yep.
I'm going to be better now. And he since said to me, that's completely changed his whole relationship with nerves.
I think they're helpful. When I was new, I would get so nervous, it would feel like I'm having a panic attack. Like I remember before I went on stage, my legs would go to jet. I'll be leaning against the bars, really nervous, really nervous. Now it's never that bad now, but there's always that moment before I go on, and it's good. I like it because listen, it could be in front of a nice crowd, in front of a rowdy crowd. The comedian in front of me has just smashed the room, so now I've got to follow this person, and the nerves help you. They keep you grounded, and I've learned to embrace them, and I like that feeling. Like I'll start getting butterflies now around about 7 o'clock, you
Yeah,
know, before the gig. And it's like, okay. And then there'll be even more because I'm trying out some new stuff. So, but I like that feeling. That's like, okay, you're getting in, it's like you're getting in the zone.
complete.
The team bus has pulled up to the stadium. It's time to go and do that's what that feeling. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, let's
right.
go. We're getting ready. Showtime.
Absolutely right. I think a really big mistake that amateur speakers or performers make is that some of them I deal with say to themselves, don't get nervous, don't get nervous, don't get nervous. 5 minutes before you're about to do something of consequence, of course you're
Yeah.
going to be bloody nervous. But if you've been telling
Yeah.
yourself that, then you can start panicking. Like, oh, I said to myself, don't get nervous. Now I'm getting nervous. Oh, Jesus, this is going to go bad. It's totally the wrong way to look at it. You're almost
Yeah.
better off using like some kind of NLP type stuff and saying to yourself,
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous because this is of consequence, but the nerves will help me do better. And
Yeah.
then the nerves, and you're right. I mean, it's where the phrase adrenaline junkie comes from, isn't it? Like
Exactly.
people get
Exactly.
hooked on it.
Yes. I think as well, what helps nerves, preparation.
Yes.
If you work on your stuff and you're prepared, the nerves will come, but because you're prepared, it's like, okay, I've got this. You walk out because we're all different. Once the lights hit you, everybody's different. Those people that are super confident and oh, I don't get nervous. When you're on stage with that mic and a room full of people and the lights are on you, that has a way of changing, like the real you comes out. So the person that might be nervous backstage but's prepared, walk on stage. Oh no, I prepared for this. Let's go. So all I would tell a new comic is look, just prepare. Make sure, even if you're doing 5 minutes, just know your stuff. Even if it's not good, know what you're going to say. So you're not on stage. Just know what, be prepared, and that will take care of the nerves. Good preparation.
You're exactly right. I heard someone describe it a little bit like two different ways to run a marathon. You can start training 4 months before with little runs, then you get bigger and you think about your diet and you don't change your running shoes and you get a load of pasta the night before and a good night's kip. When you're on the start line, you're still nervous, but you're nervous in the knowledge that you've done the work before.
Yes, yes.
Compare that to someone who's about 7 pints in on the Saturday night, and someone said, my housemate twisted his ankle. He's got a place for the marathon, but he can't do it. And you go, oh, do it. And everyone goes,
Yeah,
whoa. Then you're on the start line the next morning. But that is a completely different. Then your
exactly.
brain is thinking, what are we doing here? We might actually die.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not the guy for this. I'm not ready to do this. So
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Preparation, preparation, all the time. That helps a lot. I've said this to new comics. Even if your 5 minute set isn't good, if you know it and it's written down and you're prepared, that's going to help you so much because you know what you're doing. You might be bombing, but at least people are going to be looking like, okay, the material's not good, but they know what they're doing. You know, they look calm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. You mentioned just then about following an act that's bombing or smashing it. And I've had chats with comics over the years, and different people, some people say they'd like someone to do well before, and they just kind of, carry the torch and hand it to the next one. Other people say, oh, no, I much prefer picking it up off the floor. Where do you stand on that?
If it's well, first of all, a comedy club does not is not successful if one comedian does well. If the headliner is the only act that does well, that is not a good comedy club. All
Correct.
right. I look on it like a restaurant. I go to a restaurant and you're like, Jay, what was that restaurant like? Well, you know what? Dessert was amazing, but the starter and the main, you're not going to go to that restaurant, are you? You're going to be like, I'm going to give that a miss. But if I go to you, man, the starter was incredible. Then they brought out this amazing main and the dessert, wow, just brought, you're going to be, mate, let's go to this restaurant, highly recommend. So that's how a comedy club should be.
Yeah.
So having said that, I don't mind if the comedian before me's done well, then that's good.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep me on my toes. If someone dies before I go on stage, if I all I've got to do is go on and do my thing and I'm going to be fine. But steel sharpens steel, man. If you go on before me and smash it, then it's like, right, Sam's done his job. I need to make sure I'm on point. So it's going to give me an extra 10%. Like I need to go and get it. So I'd prefer someone to do well before me than have a bad gig.
Yeah. And me. And yeah, I've always been exactly the same. And rowdy or quiet crowd?
Oh no, we're comedians, man. I want people to listen. They're there to listen. I don't mind. I was talking about this with a comedian earlier on, actually.
Mhm.
The balance is it's a lively crowd, but when you go on, they're listening, they're paying attention, and then once you deliver the punch, yeah, the energy's up, and then they go back down and they wait for you. So I don't want the really quiet art center crowd, and I don't want the drunk late night crowd. I want that happy medium where
Yeah,
you're
right.
lively but you're paying attention.
Yeah, nice. Nice. That
I
that
call it I call it a New Year's Eve crowd, and what I mean by that is by 7 o'clock everyone's happy because they know we're going out. It's New Year's Eve. You don't want to go on stage at 11. You want to go on at around half 7 till half 8 when they're just bubbling nicely.
yeah,
That's the
right.
best time to catch them.
Yeah. I sometimes think that the headliner kind of gets it hardest in a way with some nights because come the last section, the last night, at the start, maybe it's, people are sort of making up their mind if it's going to be any good or not. They realize it's good, they're getting into it. And sometimes, unless you're careful, it's almost like you're kind of chairing a town hall meeting or something. And
Right,
everyone's,
right.
yeah, I once went to the post office, and you know the funny thing, you're like, what? Who
That's
asked
right.
you?
That's right. Yes. I think that's why the headliner, I mean, that's a term that's used way too loosely now. Anyway, the headliner, every role is responsible on the lineup. The MC for me has got the toughest job because you're going on to nothing and
Yeah,
you have to lift it from the ground. You're the one that makes it a comedy club. Otherwise, it's just a guy talking. You're the one that makes it a comedy club. Then the first act, MC and the first act are the toughest spots because you're the first. You're the MC. You're the first act. The middle spot we all know is the baby spot. That's comfy. That's where it's nice. You're sandwiched in between everybody. You should have a good set if you're good. And the headliner is where you're. For me, a headliner is, oh, I've enjoyed the night. All the acts were good, but this guy or this girl has just taken it to another level. I can see why they're closing.
yeah,
So that's how I see it. That's the
yeah,
vibe.
right. When I'm hosting, I'm very aware of that. We've sometimes had headliner acts like Marcel Leconte, who
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
he's a brilliant act, but he does not ever raise his voice. This
that's right.
and I've sort
That's
of
right.
had to say to everyone, right, everyone, just take a breath.
Yeah, bring it down, bring it down.
Well,
Yeah,
I once heard him handle. He was doing that show at the Edinburgh Fringe called Spank. You were the
yeah,
the midnight show.
yeah. I've heard of it. I've been once.
Yeah, I was. I've I think I've done it once, but I was in the audience one night watching it. And for people that might maybe not been to Edinburgh, or if they've been to Edinburgh, haven't been to this show is like the kind of Club 1830 of the Edinburgh Fringe.
That's
It's
right.
midnight, there's people getting naked, there's people getting
Yeah,
covered in whipped cream. It's just
yeah.
it's a crazy show. And
Hmm.
this show was nuts. And they got Marcel along, which for him is not a kind of like someone like, I don't know, Pat Monahan could do that gig like stood on his head because he's all about like, chaos and getting people involved. But
That's right.
a Alexis isn't like that. And they just as they brought him on, this massive fight started in front of him. So
Oh,
clear the stage, all the security coming. It was like a spaghetti western. There were blokes picking up chairs and whacking people with the chairs. They boot everyone out of the who was fighting. They chuck them out, and the MC's back on. Like, right, everyone, this guy's brilliant, but you've all got to listen. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcel Leconte. And he walks on with his glass of red wine. And he's just about to start. And in another room, people started singing happy birthday really loudly. And a great tip, I think, for people is not to compete with something else like that's
yep,
going on. And so he
yep.
just goes, ah, and just waits, has a little sip of his wine and looks around. And then he says to everyone, you throw a man out of a gig for hitting another man with a chair, but then you realize it's his birthday.
That's brilliant. That's how you get a crowd on side like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's a
And
brilliant
everyone
response.
just fell off their chairs laughing, and the rest of the gig went well. Can you remember any major interruptions to any shows that you've been involved in?
Yeah, I can think of two off the
Go
top of
on.
my head.
Brilliant.
I did the Woodville Theatre in Gravesend. I was like 10 minutes into my set and a woman fainted in the crowd.
Oh,
And I mean it was like life-threatening fainted, because someone fainted and I could see everyone's attention start going over to this corner. So everyone's watching me, and then they just went. And then
Right.
I saw the people. I knew it was really serious when I see staff running in from the back,
Oh,
and one of the staff was waving at me like this. So I just said, "Look, can we put the lights up? There's a problem here." And I sat on the stage and I said, "Look, there's a lady that's fainted, guys. So we're just gonna have to wait." I sat on the stage. After about 5 minutes, I was like, "Yeah, guys, just go to a break. You know what I mean? We'll sort this." Like, so that was my set done. This lady, it was serious. I think it was a heat stroke or something. I don't know. It was something where the paramedics had to get called down.
oh,
And
blimey.
so I just got off stage. And the MC was like, you can go back up. I said, look, there's no point. I said, just go to the break and then just do the middle section. It's fine. I mean, I'm not going to get anything out of this crowd at the moment. I think that the major concern is this lady. If it was just a normal fate, then you can make jokes about it, but this actually was quite serious.
Oh, dear.
So, and the other one, which is a bit more playful, I was gigging in Covent Garden, and Paris Saint-Germain, the football team, was playing in the Champions League final. And the venue I was performing in was about 3 doors up from a sports bar that was showing the game.
Oh, right.
So when Paris won, you could just hear everyone in the streets, like the French in the streets behind me, just celebrating. So I had to acknowledge it. I was like, Paris has won. And I don't think there was any Paris fans in it. People started booing and then chanting out what team they support. And we made a little joke about it. And then I just carried on with my set. But you just have to reference it. It's like, I'm not going to carry on doing this story and people are chanting PSG, PSG. It's like, yeah, the football guys, it's okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. No, you certainly do have to. I think if you're not as experienced, you might be um, tempted to try and kind of compete with something like that, or to sort of talk over it or something. But
Mm.
there has to come a time when you do reference that, I would
You
say.
acknowledge it. Do you know what it's like? Have you ever? I don't know if this happens to you because I know you MC a lot. Have you ever talked to someone in the audience and they like you might say something to them and they come back with a line that's so genius the whole room laughs,
Yeah,
and a lot of comedians try and top it.
no,
Yeah, well, it's like, dude, let them have that. Just say,
absolutely.
you know what, well done, mate. Give them come up here and take a bow. That was brilliant. Give them their praise. You look so much better
Yeah,
than
you
if
do.
you're, yeah, but let me try and top that. No, 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 no.
No,
Just give the guys flowers and move on.
yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And I've done
Yeah,
exactly that. The only trouble with doing that I've noticed is that they sometimes are then thinking of the next thing to say. And then you have to be
right.
like, yeah, all right, mate. The bit about dog walking was good, but why don't we leave it there? And then that gets a laugh too. But you're absolutely
Exactly.
right. Not to not to compete with not to compete with it. What about advice you've been given from other comics? Are you like you're obviously really engaged in this, and I'm really enjoying the chat. Are you someone that maybe more when you started would look for advice from other comics?
Yeah, I would talk to, I mean, I would get advice from, if I was doing an open spot at a club and then there's a big headliner on, sometimes they'd come up to you and say, hey, listen, man, you're really good. You know that bit that you did? Do some more. There's more jokes in there. So write that
Yeah,
joke out. Or, hey, why don't you say this instead? Or maybe start with that instead of. So I love it. Advice is always good. You can always tell if advice is going to help you. If I give you advice right now, oh, I might try that, or nah, that doesn't really apply to me. But I always take advice, especially from people that have been doing it a long time, and not just people that have been doing it a long time, people that are still working.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There are a lot of people doing it a long time doing the same stuff. I'm talking about people that are still writing and trying to improve and get better. They're the ones I listen to a lot. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. Like, I'm a big fan of American comedians. I'm a big fan of American stand-ups. So I
yeah,
listen to a lot of their podcasts. And so if someone interviews like a Bill Burr, for example, I'll listen to that and he'll always say, when I was new, this happened. But So he's not giving me advice, but his story is giving me advice. Like, oh, he felt that way like I do when he was coming up. So maybe I need to be a bit more. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like they're
Definitely,
talking, but they're dropping bits of nuggets where it's like, oh, that will be useful in my
completely.
career. So
And
and I'll
sometimes,
take
well,
so anybody, and I've had advice from. I remember at open mic night, a new comic gave me advice, and he was like, I'm not going to do the whole routine, but it was just this joke about it involved a Fiat Uno. It was just a joke involving a Fiat Uno, blah blah blah. And this, he just gave me this bit of advice, and he was like, "Yeah, just don't say all that other stuff. Just do the Fiat Uno bit, and then get into the routine." And it was the best advice for that joke. And this was from an open mic comic,
yeah, right, absolutely.
so it can come from anywhere, man. It can come from anywhere.
Can you remember any? You don't need to quote, you can if you like, but you don't need to quote the comic who gave it you. But can you remember any bit of advice that you still use today?
Yeah, I remember years ago, Adam Bloom told me, play the gig in front of you. You
Right.
know, there's comedians we play in my mind now. I told you, I'm in my mind tonight at Backyard. I've got an idea how the gig's going to go. I'm going to get there. They're going to be sat nice. There's going to be a full room. It's going to be a good show. They're going to be wait. That might not be the gig I walk into. Do you understand? It's like
Yeah.
play the gig that's in front of you. Don't play the gig you want it to be. The room that's here, just play what's here. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making it clear, but if you walk into a room that looks tricky, then adapt. If you walk into a room that might be a bit rowdy, adapt. Don't get angry because they're not what you want them to be. It might not be the perfect gig, but adapt to the situation. So Adam Bloom said that to me. Just play the gig that's in front of you. I did a show at Leicester Square Theatre, and backstage on the wall, it's the best advice, man. It's don't think about the gig, just gig,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Just do what you're. And there was a comedian on the lineup who was he's not an open micer, but he hasn't played big rooms. So
Mhm.
we were talking backstage, and I was just telling him, look, just relax, man. Do what you always do when you're in a room above a pub in front of 30 people. And then I saw that writing on the wall. I said, that's it right there, man. Don't think about the gig, just gig. So
Yeah. It's definitely something. I mean, we're obviously like comedy nerds,
yeah,
and
big time.
it's the sort of thing that I think preparation's key, as you said, but I also think that you can kind of over prepare or you can overthink a gig instead of just thinking this is work. If I have fun, they'll have fun. Let's just
Yes,
keep the
yes,
energy up and
yeah,
just go with it. And I think it's possible sometimes to sort of overthink these things.
yeah. And it ties in with the whole new material bit that we were talking about earlier. You've got comedians that write jokes word for word. Every single word that they say is written. And
Mm.
that's not my style. I'll have a flow of I'm starting here, this is in the middle, this is at the end. A lot of the writing I do is on stage.
Yeah,
Things that come, there's things I'm going to think of on stage. I'm not going to think of sitting in my room writing a joke. So I'm not a rigid comic. So to your point of saying learn to enjoy it, don't become too rigid. Don't be up there. Just have fun with it, man. Your job is telling jokes. Have some fun. You know what I mean? Try and be a bit loose with it, and I
yeah,
try and do that. So it ties in with writing and performing. Preparing is good. Being prepared is good, but you're having fun. Like you, I've come from the working world. I've had real jobs. You
yeah,
know what I
right.
mean? I've come from proper jobs, warehouse work, forklift, offices, proper
Yep,
jobs. This, I love this. This is why I'm such a nerd about it. I love it. I prepare for it, but I want to enjoy it. And we're lucky to do it.
absolutely right. So tonight you're trying a new bit, so this might alter tonight from in general, but let's just talk about in general as opposed to trying a new bit. What do you do after a show to like assess what you've done? How does it work when you finish the gig? Is there any kind of process that you would go through about what worked and what didn't?
Yeah, yeah. I would it's always the car ride or the tube ride home, right?
Mhm.
So when I get off stage, say I'm driving home, the post-mortem starts, okay?
Yeah.
And it's literally it's breaking down it, and it's not just a punchline I'm looking at, it's everything. Did I start the bit right? Did I use the right words? Was it a bit too wordy? Could I take these words out? Like the open micer said to me, you use that joke is too wordy, drop a few words and get to the point. Did I get to the point quick enough? Was the punchline strong? Could I add anything else to it? Because when a new bit works, normally you think, okay, that punchline works. Can I put something else next to it? So it's the whole bit that gets analyzed that I look at and think, all right, let's see where this goes. So it's not just a laugh, it's the wording, everything.
And are you recording shows and playing them back or just doing it from memory?
Some clubs, like Backyard, has got a camera. So I'll just ask the promoter, can you send me footage of that? But that will
Nice.
take about 3, 4 days. I've got a good memory. So when I'm on stage, I can remember a word most times what I said.
Right.
So I'll just think about it. Sometimes I'll record myself, which is good. But if I'm doing something new, and this is some advice I got, I don't record it the first time I'm trying it because I don't want that version to be stuck in my head,
Interesting.
because that might not be the version that I use. I'll record it the third or fourth time when
Yeah,
it's
you are.
starting to work. Then it's like, okay, I'm onto something now. So
Brilliant.
that's the process. But the post mortem, mate, sometimes the post mortem starts when I'm on stage after I've said the joke. If it doesn't work, my mouth is saying the next joke, but my brain is like, okay, guys, come on, let's have a team meeting. What went wrong there? What went wrong? That didn't land.
Yeah, I definitely recommend analyzing it, but that might
Yeah.
be a little bit quick.
Yeah, that's it's the you know what it's like. It's the way your mind is. It's like, why didn't
Oh
that
yeah,
work? I take it personally when my stuff don't work. It's like, no, something went wrong. What didn't you do? What went wrong? You
yeah.
weren't clear enough. And
A,
you always look
a,
at yourself.
especially if you know the next bit well enough to sort of do it on autopilot, then that gives you a chance to kind of do that while you're talking.
Like I said, that's why I always have the joke afterwards. I know what it is. I go into it straight away. Like I've done this joke before. I know it gets laughs. So I can deliver it on autopilot while my brain is panicking about the bit that didn't work. So
Yeah. I once did an Edinburgh show and I'd spent about 5 minutes messing around with the audience. And then I started the pre-written stuff, but I knew I didn't want to overrun because you get fined in Edinburgh because there are, for people that haven't been, one venue might host, I don't know, 12 shows a day. So if
mm,
one act overruns, it knocks everyone else back. So I knew I couldn't overrun, but I knew the whole hour so well that in my head I could edit what I was gonna take out,
right,
keeping like bits in that were callbacks for later that I didn't want to lose. But
right,
what I couldn't do was say to the audience, well, ladies and gentlemen, in light of that 5 minutes of ad lib, I'm just going to spend 2 minutes reordering what I'm going to say for the rest of the, because they'd all be like,
right.
what are you talking about? Get on with it.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
and that's when we've brought it right back round to the start. It's about the preparation.
It's the preparation, knowing what you've always got to have. I heard Omid Jalili say this. When you go on stage, your brain for doing stand up should be 60% preparation and 40% should be improv. You should always have
Right.
room to have, to play around, to work on new ideas like you were talking about with your
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
because that's the best things come out of that. You can't take that away. Even if you could probably do a show, say you're filming a special or you're getting ready for a tour, you could have the show down. The first night you're on tour, you could just have a line that works like, oh my gosh, this line makes this joke even better. You've never done it before, but you're doing it now. So it's
Exactly.
like, okay, let me put that in. And it's constantly evolving, It's
I
I don't
do.
think you've ever got a set or a show that's complete.
Yeah.
It's like you'll do it, but then after the Edinburgh finishes a week later, oh, you know what I could have done? I could have told this story. That would have made
Yeah.
me,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just the way our mind works. That's the way a comedian's mind works.
Absolutely. Jay, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this, mate. I've only done, this is the third one of these that I've done. And what I'm finding is that this is like an elongated green room chat.
Yes,
Like,
yes, yes.
I love the chats with the comics in the green rooms of gigs, but we just get into it a little bit. And I look at my watch and go, oh shit, I've got to start the next section.
Exactly.
See you soon. See you soon. Whereas this is just lovely because we can just go over it. It's been an absolute pleasure. Jay, tell
Two nerds talking about comedy, man. What's better than that?
what could be finer. Jay, up. He's gone. Jay, can you hear me? Are you there? Well, I suppose if Jay had to drop out, doing it right at the very end is better than doing it 3 minutes into a 45-minute podcast. So I don't use edits in any of these, but this might be the first time that I break my rule, wait for a second, because all I want to do is to get Jay to tell all of you guys where he can be found by you, either online or in person. Jay, are you there? All right, so we've managed to put a few 50p's in the meter to get Jay back for the rest of this. Jay, I was just in the process of thanking you, and my last question for you would be if people have enjoyed our chat, where can they find you online or in person?
On the social, it's at J Patterson Comic on Instagram and on TikTok. And if you want to see me live, I put my comedy dates on my socials from time to time. So I do have a solo show coming up though on the 30th of April at Camden Comedy Club. It's my one-man show called Underrated. And yeah, I'll be putting the link and everything on my social media. But that's Thursday, the 30th of April at 6 o'clock, Camden Comedy Club, Underrated. But any other information they want to find from me, get me on social media. I put everything there.
And I know that Jay is doing some more reels, and I've seen a few, and they are very, very funny, as they are all in real life as well. So, whatever you're
Yeah,
doing, check out all of Jason's stuff, and you will not be disappointed. Jay, I can't thank you
thank you.
enough for doing this. Thank you so much, pal.
It's been the best chat I've had about comedy in a long time. This has been a lot of fun, man. So, and I'll be watching future shows as well.
There he is, Jason Patterson. What a guy. I think from a communication point of view, there were loads of takeaways, but here are three. Number one, I don't know about you, but I was amazed at the level of detail that Jason goes into with his preparation. It's so easy to see someone who's good at anything and just think, oh, they're all right. They can just do that. But in reality, it comes down to hard work. Number two is not being afraid to take advice from more junior people than you. Jay told that story about getting a tip from an open micer. It would have been so easy for him to have just been all kind of hoity-toity, like, I ain't listening to you. But he didn't do that. And he was rewarded with a great tip that he still used today. And point number three, slightly paradoxical, following from point number two, you might think, don't be afraid to ignore advice as well. We're all wired up differently, aren't we? Different tips work with different people. You might hear a tip and think, oh, wow, I can't wait to try that. You might find another tip completely useless. It's not a problem. Thank the person politely and keep going. Thanks for listening to Before, During, After, a Smirk Experience podcast about performance from the inside. If you enjoyed the show, why not share it with someone else who you think might get it? and give us a subscribe as well. See you next time.